All right, we should be live here. I will double check. Sometimes I gotta refresh or some such. Still not showing as live. There we go. Okay. Fireside chat 290. Pretty much repeat last week. Not a whole lot. Shout out to Anarian, Warrior of the Month. I'm also going to shout out Kanagramir because two of them were tied for Warrior of the Month. So that's when I usually vote and have to break the tie, but obviously both of them very deserving. And to the Disciples of the Traveler, our Destiny 2 platoon. They are the platoon of the month. Something I wanted to bring up that we talked about at the officer meeting. I guess I can talk about what else we talked about. But one thing was the difference between a rough platoon and a platoon. You have to have 4 people at your events 4 times. Doesn't have to be 4 times in a row, just over any period of time. And you have to have 5 people on the roster. And actually, a couple of rough platoons meet that criteria. So that's kind of up to captains and division leaders to make that promotion. And generally Kusiak as well, because he's at the top of that food chain there. But yeah, I think that's a big thing. So potentially we could have some rough platoons upgrading to platoons. That's really the goal of a rough platoon, and that is what enables the people in that platoon to rank up higher than Master Chief Petty Officer too. So that's kind of cool for everybody. And it just kind of is sort of a statement as far as this is more of an established presence on that game for WA. Obviously, anniversary coming up June 1st, and Hjorthing and some so on celebrations. We'll be opening up sign-ups for the Hjorthing probably in about a week. That's probably do it 15th, 16th of May. Open those up. We're discussing potentially some other ideas for how to any kind of rule changes or format changes, but we'll see. We had Kusiak got a cool idea for like a draft kind of war tournament. I don't know. Nobody else has said anything about that. I think it's interesting, but we'll see how things go. But I think the plan will be to have a, yeah, I mean, a little bit of a different kind of house war this time around. So at a minimum, what we're going to do is probably have the opportunity for people to register for a different house. They just have to provide a sort of RP or lore or theatric-esque justification for why they want to do it, but it's not like a test. It's really just asking you to just put a little bit more thought and effort into fighting for a different house. And also as kind of a gesture of respect to that house, because fighting for a different house is pretty unusual. So in order to allow it, I think that it's kind of only fair that we ask that people do more than just kind of just click a button. They have to actually make their case, essentially. That said, let's see if we got anything else here from the officer meeting. Yeah, not really anything crazy. I mean, obviously roll call is open for May, so make sure you're posting that. Make sure you post your platoon in the roll call as well. Yeah, talked about anniversary coming up, Warrior and Platoon of the Month, so I think that is about it. I do want to say, sorry that I haven't done, I know I talked about getting some of the night order stuff, night training stuff done, and I really haven't had time to do any of that. But as I said previously, if you're interested, feel free to contact me. That way it just makes it a bit easier for me, and we can kind of, because then I'm not putting much effort in where there's not necessarily the equal from the other side. So if you're willing to make that first step and say, hey, I would like to finish this, and I say, okay, then let's do it. But I think that about does it. So I'm going to go ahead and head off. Office hours beginning shortly.